Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
Hey, you look concerned. What's on your mind?
The final exam. I'm not fully prepared yet.
Well, don't worry too much. You still have 3 days.
Yeah, but 3 days will fly past in a wink.
Well, you still have time to cram things in your brain anyway.
Question 1. Why is the man looked worried?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good afternoon. I'm glad you could make it to the property viewing today. This house has some fantastic features, and I believe it could be an excellent fit for your family. What are your initial thoughts?
Thank you for arranging this. It's a lovely house. However, the asking price is a bit higher than we had budgeted for.
I understand your concern. The sellers are motivated, and we might have some room for negotiation. What price range are you comfortable with?
We were hoping for something around $350,000, but this is listed at $375,000.
I'll communicate your offer to the sellers and see if they're willing to come down. Additionally, we can discuss potential concessions or closing costs to make it more affordable. How soon are you looking to move in?
We're flexible with the move-in date, but ideally within the next 3 months.
Great. I'll get in touch with the sellers and start the negotiation process. Let's see if we can make this home a reality for you.
What strategy does the real estate agent propose to make the house more affordable for the homebuyer? According to the conversation, what is the ideal move-in timeframe for the homebuyer? What is the real estate agent's main goal in this conversation?
You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
Thank you for sharing your preferences. I'll reach out to the sellers today to discuss your offer of $350,000 and your flexible move-in timeline. To sweeten the deal, we can propose that they cover some of the closing costs to ease the financial burden on your end.
That sounds reasonable. We really love the neighborhood and the layout of this house, so we hope they'll consider our offer.
I'll emphasize the positive aspects of your offer and the strong appeal of having motivated buyers like yourselves. It might also help to include a personal letter explaining why you're drawn to this property.
That's a great idea. We're ready to put in the effort to make this work.
Fantastic. I'll keep you updated on any developments. In the meantime, feel free to ask any questions or share any additional details you think might strengthen our position during negotiations.
Will do. We appreciate your help and patience throughout this process.
My pleasure. Let's work together to secure your dream home at the best possible price. I'll be in touch soon with the seller's response.
What does real estate agent offer to do in the future? Why does home buyer hope the sellers will consider their offer? Why does home buyer hope the sellers will consider their offer?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
Absolutely. I'm committed to helping you achieve your homeownership goals. In the meantime, it might be a good idea to get your financing in order and gather any necessary documents for the purchase process. This will streamline things once we have an agreement in place.
That's a good point. We'll start working on that immediately to ensure a smooth transition.
Excellent. It demonstrates to the sellers that you're serious about the purchase, which can work in our favor. I'll also provide you with a list of reputable home inspectors and legal professionals to consult once we reach that stage.
Thanks for the guidance. We'll keep our fingers crossed for a positive response from the sellers.
I'm optimistic that we can come to a mutually beneficial agreement. In the meantime, if you have any questions or need further information, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to assist you throughout this journey.
We appreciate your support and will eagerly await your update. Thanks again for your help.
You're very welcome. I'll be in touch soon and we'll work together to make this house your new home. Have a wonderful day.
What is the primary reason for getting financing in order and gathering necessary documents for the purchase process? What does the real estate agent mean when they say, it demonstrates to the sellers that you're serious about the purchase?
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey, it's been quite an experience working in this multicultural team, hasn't it?
Absolutely, it's been eye-opening, but I can't deny there have been challenges.
Yeah, like that time we had that miscommunication during the project kickoff meeting. Remember how our colleague from Japan was so reserved, and we misinterpreted it as disinterest?
Oh, I remember that. It took us a while to realize that in Japanese culture, it's common to show respect by being more reserved. We should have done our homework before jumping to conclusions.
And then there's the issue of time zones. Coordinating meetings can be a nightmare, especially with team members in Europe, Asia, and the Americas.
It's a constant juggling act, trying to find a time that works for everyone, but we've definitely become more flexible in our schedules because of it.
True, and let's not forget the language barrier. It can lead to misunderstandings and missed nuances in communication.
That's right. We've had to learn to be patient and clarify things when needed. It's all about fostering open communication.
Despite the challenges, I think our diverse team has brought fresh perspectives and innovative ideas to the table.
I couldn't agree more. It's been a learning curve, but I think we're all growing and becoming better collaborators because of it.
Absolutely. It's a journey, but it's one that's making us stronger as a team.
What was one of the challenges that colleagues faced in their multicultural team? How did the colleagues misinterpret their Japanese colleagues' behavior during the project kickoff meeting? How have the colleagues adapted to the challenge of time zone differences? How do the colleagues deal with the language barrier in their multicultural team? What is the colleagues' overall perspective on working in a multicultural team? You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey, Mr. Robin, you know what I've been thinking about lately? Our favorite cooking techniques. It's amazing how much creativity we can express through different methods in the kitchen.
Absolutely, Mr. Jack. Cooking techniques are like an artist's palette for us. One of my all-time favorites has to be sous vide. The precision and consistency it offers are unmatched. You can achieve the perfect doneness every single time.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Sous vide is a game changer. The way it locks in flavors and keeps meats incredibly tender is just mind-blowing. Plus, the ability to infuse flavors into vacuum-sealed bags is pure culinary magic.
Right on. And speaking of flavor infusion, have you tried smoking techniques? Smoking adds such depth to dishes. I love using different types of wood chips to create unique smoky profiles. It's like adding a secret layer of complexity.
Smoking is fantastic. I've experimented with everything from hickory to applewood, and each wood imparts its own personality to the dish. I especially love smoking meats for hours slowly until they become tender and infused with that irresistible smokiness.
Well, you know what they say, patience is a virtue in the kitchen. Another technique I'm crazy about is braising. There's something deeply satisfying about taking tough cuts of meat and transforming them into succulent, melt-in-your-mouth goodness.
Braising is pure comfort food heaven. The way to build rich, flavorful sauces as the meat simmers away is a work of art. And don't get me started on the aroma that fills the kitchen.
Amen to that. But hey, let's not forget the power of a well-executed sear. Searing brings out those caramelized flavors and adds a beautiful crust to meats. It's like the final touch that elevates a dish to perfection.
Searing is the grand finale, the last dance. It's the moment when you know the dish is ready to shine. I also love how it creates contrast. That perfect balance between a crispy exterior and a juicy interior.
Indeed, my friend. It's incredible how we can create masterpieces with just a handful of cooking techniques. It's a reminder that in the culinary world, the possibilities are endless, and our creativity knows no bounds.
You're absolutely right. These techniques are our tools, our instruments. And with them, we compose delicious symphonies for the palate.
What culinary technique does Mr. Jack admire for its precision and consistency? What characteristic of smoking techniques is highlighted in the conversation? What is mentioned as the grand finale in cooking, adding a crispy exterior and juicy interior to dishes? What is the common theme among all the cooking techniques discussed in the conversation? Which cooking technique is described as adding depth to dishes and creating a secret layer of complexity? What is the common thread among all the cooking techniques discussed in the conversation?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
In a concerning development for the environment and agriculture, a recent study has unveiled a distressing decline in bee populations. Published in the journal Environmental Science and Technology, the research highlights the critical importance of bees in maintaining ecosystems at security. The study, conducted over the past 5 years, examined bee populations across diverse regions worldwide. Researchers found a staggering 37% reduction in bee populations, encompassing various species crucial for pollinating crops and wild plants. This decline poses a significant threat to global food production and the delicate balance of ecosystems. Experts attribute the decline to a combination of factors, primarily habitat loss due to urbanization and agricultural expansion. Pesticide use, particularly neonicotinoids, has also played a detrimental role in bee population decline. Climate change-induced alterations in flowering patterns and extreme weather events further exacerbate the situation, affecting the availability of food for these vital pollinators. The repercussions of dwindling bee populations are far-reaching. Bees are responsible for pollinating over 75% of the world's crops, including staples like apples, almonds, and soybeans. The decline in bee populations could lead to decreased crop yields and increased food prices, affecting global food security. Efforts to reverse this troubling trend are already underway. Conservation organizations are working to establish pollinator-friendly habitats and reduce the use of harmful pesticides.
Furthermore, raising public awareness about the importance of bees and their vital role in our ecosystems is a crucial step in securing their future.
Governments and industries must take immediate action to address this alarming decline in bee populations. Implementing sustainable agricultural practices and stricter regulations on pesticides are vital steps in protecting these essential pollinators and safeguarding our food supply. In the face of this daunting challenge, it is clear that collective action is required to preserve bee populations and the ecosystems they support. The fate of these industrious insects is closely entwined with our own, and their survival is critical for a sustainable and food-secure future.
You will listen to a 2 minutes video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
As news of Kobe Bryant's death spread, many people turned to social media to share their sadness.
And there is some kind of comfort in collective grieving, but there are also moments that need to be private. Danielle Fanfare, Executive Director at the Heinz Center for Spirituality and Prayer, is here to help us navigate the grieving process in our age of being online. And it can be difficult to find that fair balance. So I'm glad you're here to talk about it.
Yeah, one thing that we all have in common is that we were all healing from something else before this very bizarre tragedy happened. And so it's important to understand that the details of these stories as they emerge can help us to understand really information about what we are going through. It can also make us sometimes feel a little bit worse.
When you're online after such a huge public figure like Kobe Bryant has died, it can feel overwhelming seeing post after post after post. Do you think that it helps people to be online and to read, you know, multiple hundreds of posts, or do you think it's better for people to just stay off of it?
So the hashtag Girl Dad has over 2 million posts, and Elle Duncan, who's an anchor, fellow journalist of you all's company, she was talking about her last encounter with Kobe and how he was so proud to be a father of girls, and how Girl Dad has now been this kind of, you know, uniting term around fathers who have daughters. And the Girl Dad hashtag posts are really encouraging. I will say, though, it's still easy to go into a spiral and to just look at post and tribute after tribute. And I would say that if you end up feeling sadder or less like you have support and you feel more alone, it's time to take a break.
Sometimes it can be hard to do that because I think out of habit, we're just always grabbing our phone. That's what it's almost like our brain is trained to do that. But there are apps that can actually help you kind of fight almost that phone addiction.
So understand that we're naturally curious about these things, especially when we lose someone that has been introduced to us through our screens. However, the Forest app is a really neat app that helps you to spend some, you know, curated time away from your phone. And when I say curated, the app is kind of like a game and a digital babysitter at the same time. And so you can set a timer of how long you want to be away from your phone, and it incentivizes that by letting you grow an orchard of trees on your phone. And every time you break your commitment and you end your break early, you kill a tree.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
And so you end up actually beginning to kind of cultivate this natural space in your phone, and it also gives you time to actually go on your phone and do what you want before a limited time as well. So you can say, okay, I'm going to goof off for an hour on my phone, and it'll give you a buzz and say, okay, it's time to put it away again. So it is a digital babysitter, but also kind of a little environmental kind of Angry Birds vibe too. You know what I mean?
And sometimes we need that little nudge, because if you do realize how much you unlock your phone a day and spend time on it, it will probably make you mad. I know it does for me. So you also have resources on your website for people who are grieving.
So the Heinz Center is this space where we want people to use it as a resource to feel better mentally, to feel better emotionally, to feel better physically, and to cultivate a positive community so that we can have the resources to answer life's big questions together. So we have a wellness resources page on our website, and that wellness resources page has a special note from me just about your focus as you grieve, and some information about what you need, as well as an article that talks about 9 reasons why it's okay to grieve celebrities' deaths. And then we have some podcasts and some interesting articles, and then just to make you smile, we have a link to baby Labrador puppies swimming for the first time.
Oh, I love it. Hey, why
Because we all need it.
That's genius. Happy dog videos.
Remind us again where we find that information.
So you go to www.heinzcenter.org and then /wellness resources, and it's right there in our toolbar when you click on the right-hand side of our screen.
Well, you made us smile just talking about it, so it sounds like a powerful tool.
So it's okay to grieve, it's okay to be curious, it's also okay to watch puppies bathe in the river or swim for the first time.
Okay, and those are your lessons in life on this Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you all for having me back, and thanks for creating this platform for people to feel better.
Love your positive vibes.
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
Single-use plastics have become a global concern due to their significant and far-reaching social and environmental impacts. These disposable plastic items, such as bags, bottles, and utensils, are convenient but have dire consequences on our planet and communities. From a social perspective, single-use plastics contribute to the degradation of public spaces. Littered plastic waste not only creates eyesores but also poses hazards to wildlife and humans. In many low-income communities, inadequate waste management systems exacerbate this problem, leading to pollution and health risks. Additionally, the production and disposal of single-use plastics can harm marginalized communities who often live near plastic production facilities or waste disposal sites, facing health disparities and environmental injustices. Environmental impacts are perhaps even more alarming. Single-use plastics are notorious for their persistence in the environment. They break down into microplastics, infiltrating ecosystems and contaminating water sources. Marine life often mistakes plastic particles for food, leading to ingestion and entanglement, causing harm to marine ecosystems. Furthermore, the extraction and production of plastics are energy-intensive processes that contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and exacerbate climate change. To address these issues, there is a growing global movement to reduce single-use plastics. Many countries have implemented bans or taxes on plastic bags and straws, while industries are exploring alternative materials and packaging solutions. Individuals can also play a role by adopting reusable alternatives and supporting businesses that prioritize sustainability.